everyone! Welcome to Chalks and Talks. We are here to share some educational videos and learning tips that I know for sure will benefit our teachers and learners. By the way, I'm Teacher April, together with my partners, Teacher Rose Jan and Teacher JL. So later on guys, they will also share their knowledge about our topic for today. So for today's video, we will talk about teacher-centered approach and learner-centered approach on materials adaptation and materials evaluation. I know some of you have already heard this before, but at least at some point of this video, you are able to apprehend and get some takeaways after this. Shall we start? And now let us first define the following terms. First is the teacher-centered approach. In this approach, the students put all of their focus on the teacher. The teacher talks, and the student exclusively listens. Next is the student-centered approach. In this approach, the students are more active than the teacher and plays a collaborative role in their learning. The third one is materials adaptation. It is the application of some strategies to make the textbook more effective and flexible. And the last one is materials evaluation. This is a procedure that involves measuring the potential value of a set of learning material. And those are the definition of the terms that will be used in our topic for today. And now, Teacher Rose Jan and Teacher JL will now discuss about teacher-centered approach and learner-centered approach on materials adaptation and evaluation. Hello, Teacher Rose Jan and Teacher JL. I will give now the talk to you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am April. That was really helpful. Now that we know the difference between these two approaches, let us now proceed to the learning materials evaluation under the concept of teacher-centered approach. Let's go! When we are evaluating a learning material, we are to measure the potential value of it. And if you are a teacher who uses a teacher-centered approach, then it's easy for you to determine the strengths and weaknesses of your material. And the fact that you are the only one who can directly observe the learning growth of your students, and you can easily pinpoint the strong and weak points of your material. Upon the learning process, we will able to see if the material used is effective. And in evaluating the material, we are encouraged to evaluate it 3 times. First is the pre-use evaluation. In here, we are going to predict the value of the material. It is important because this will determine the specific material that we are going to use to provide a coherent discussion about a certain topic. And we are predicting the validity of materials to use in the discussion. The teacher scans the topic and think of a material that will possibly deliver the totality of the lesson. For example, for today's discussion is about the different types of speeches. As a teacher, you will initially think that providing different clips of these different types of speeches will definitely help your students in understanding and see the message that you are trying to convey. Second is the whilst or in-use evaluation. In this phase, observing the initial response or the feedback of the students to the learning material used is a must. Are the students showing some signs that they are enjoying the learning process, or are they getting some takeaways from it? Because as a teacher who uses a teacher-centered approach, you must see their expressions and minimal feedback about the inputs that you are trying to feed them. It asks the question, are they learning with the material, or are the materials provided engage the students into a comprehensive way of learning? Then if the answer is yes, then the material is effective. I hope you're still with me. So lastly, the post-use evaluation. This is quite simple to evaluate since in this stage, the results results of the learning processes out. And you can determine here if the materials used is effective or not based from the results of your students' assessment. And if you can see good results, then the material is effective. But if you can see that the students are having a hard time, then there must be a need for materials improvement. That ends my discussion. I am passing the floor to Ma'am Rose.
Hello, Teacher 8 and Teacher J, and our Kachaks and Talks. Hello, everyone. I hope you stay tuned with us. So, since Teacher J is done discussing the teacher-centered approach concept concerning the evaluation and adaptation of learning materials, we proceed now to student-centered approach. It is basically the contradiction of the teacher-centered approach. The evaluation of learning materials in this approach is both done by the students and the teacher. If the students are the one who are giving the input, they must counter-check the information and content they will provide in the class. The materials must be tested and validated by the teacher before disseminating. In the pre-use evaluation, the students must create an outline of the content that will be reflected in the materials that they will use. The teacher then must check the outline first before letting the students create the materials to avoid further problems that may occur during the discussion. In the whilst or in-use evaluation, the students are required to not just observe the effectiveness of the materials, but also they are asked to do a self-evaluation of the materials. If the materials used are helping them in grasping the topic. So we are not limiting student-centered approach in activities like reporting or students acting as teachers in the class. But we can also have a collaborative learning in the class through evaluating materials used. And this already is an engagement of students with the topic. In the post-use evaluation, the students will have self-evaluation if the learning materials made impact to their learning. Are the materials good enough to showcase the totality of topics content? Do the learning materials contribute to knowledge acquisition process of the students? If the answer is yes, the materials are effective and therefore suited for the needs of the students. Moreover, external and internal evaluation are done by students with their point of view, but the teachers are still required to check and correct if mistakes are present. Proceeding with the adaptation of learning materials, the students may ask the teacher for an external agreement regarding with the syllabus or the materials. The students and the teacher must come up with an agreement that meets their expectations and learning objectives. If the teacher is working under student-centered approach, he must consult the students since this approach is asking for an interaction between students and teacher. And that concludes our topic for today. Thank you for watching.
Hello, Kachaks and Talks. It's me again, Teacher April. So I would like to thank Teacher Rose Jan and Teacher JL for imparting their knowledge and giving us precise explanation and well-presented ideas of the topic. In addition to the ideas presented, materials adaptation and materials evaluation is imperative in the teaching learning process, whether it is in the teacher-centered approach or learner-centered approach. It just only depends how the teacher modify and simplify the material. So through this, it may help greatly to overcome many students' learning problems by providing more familiar structures and more appropriate activities according to their needs. And when it comes to materials evaluation, as teachers, we have to reflect first on the material. If do we need this material? Is this useful? Is this relevant? And we also need to consider if how these materials are being used in practice and to what effect. So this will be the basis if the learning objective is being met. Most especially today that we are living in a more advanced and techy world, and wherein the learners are more engaged in using gadgets and involved in different social media apps. Thus, we as teachers should also learn how to adapt these changes in our educational system. And since we are adapting the different learning modalities implemented by the Department of Education. Since teachers now are provided with various trainings and seminars to improve the teaching skills and strategies, but let us always keep in mind that not all materials are adaptable. Thus, we really need to evaluate first the material to be used. So that's all for today, Kachoks and Talks. I hope you enjoyed our video and learned something from us. But before I end this video, please hit like and subscribe for more updates. Thank you. Bye!